The Trove update in 2023 has not been great. Okay, I'll be 100% transparent, they've been shit. So I went back and looked over all of the updates since 2021, since this is when they started adding the schedule that they mentioned that they will do, which was 1 to 2 minor updates before summer, then the summer expansion, 1 to 2 minor updates before the winter, and then the winter expansion. This is something that I just need to mention. This is for PC. For console, it's just going to be the expansions update on summer and winter. Ever since 2021, it's been just consistent like that. That's why I will be doing a comparison between all of those updates, and you're going to see how bad 2023 has really been. Of course, I need to mention that I played all of these updates, and I've also completed all of these updates. I have every single mastery item that were available in all of these updates, and I will be talking about not only from experience but also how impactful they've been from the game as a whole. I will be talking about a year-by-year basis, so if you're very interested in a specific year, especially 2023, since I will be getting a little bit toxic, then there will be timestamps in the description down below and obviously in the timeline on the video. Before anyone just says anything, by the way, I still enjoy the game. I still play the game still, and I still find the game fun, but I still also as well need to give my honest opinions in regards to this topic. Alright, let's get started. "2021 was pretty jam-packed with many updates. Actually, as a matter of fact, this was the year that we got the most amount of updates, which were Crack the Core, Color Masters Regrowth as the two first minor updates. Summer expansion was Tune-Up, then it was Depth Stepper Lunar Leap as the third and fourth minor update, and the winter expansion was Polished Paragon. To break it down, is going to be Crack the Core is the Fade Delve Biome. It is something that people still use it to this very day, but it is not something that just made a huge change for the game. The Color Masters Regrowth was the Color Masters rework, which made the character into the highest DPS character at the time, and it lasted for the whole 2021. Of course, it was impactful back then, not so much right now because of class rebalancing and rework and introductions. The summer expansion tune-up was the update that we got the Bard class. Obviously, it being a new class is in fact impactful throughout the whole game because it's a new class. And also we got the best speed farming subclass in the game, which was Personal Song. Then it was Depth Stepper. The name of the update suggests is the update that we got the boss portal and also allowing us to change whichever depth that we wanted, which of course is very impactful not only for weeklies, farming very specific mementos and mounts, and also very specific bosses. I would argue this is more impactful right now than it was back then because portals are tradable and there's an overabundance of them in the marketplace. Also, this update got the Neon Ninja buff with the Shadow Flip granting shuriken charges every single time that you do a Shadow Flip. So of course this just made the Neon Ninja into undoubtedly the best speed farming class in Uber 10 at the time, because this was before it got the class quote-unquote rebalancing, and of course this was when Uber 10 was still the highest difficulty portal for dungeon grinding. Then it was the fourth and final minor update, which was Lunar Leap. It was the Lunar Lesser rework, which at the time people were complaining, saying that this class was worse than pre-rework. I don't know how, but of course at the time it got reworked. It was good, but nothing too special. And obviously that didn't last too long because the winter update dropped a month after the Lunar Leap, and that was the Polished Paragon, and I don't need to explain too much. The Paragon system, Crystal Ring, hidden effects, which effectively made some classes way better than they are right now, like Candy Barbarian with the Spin to Win, Luna Lancer with Need for Speed, Knight with the Overcharge, Speed Spears with the Revenant, etc. This was very impactful at the time, and it is better right now because a lot of the items that you need for the Paragon system are just much more common. So just to recap 2021, we got a Delve Biome, 2 class rework and Neon Ninja buff, the Bard class, Depth Stepper, Crystal Rings, and hidden effects and the Paragon levels. So 2021 was pretty great. Every single update was either decent or great, and especially long term, they've been just better over time. 2022, I would argue, is just even better, while 2021 is just more focused on improving a lot of stuff that were already available at the game. 2022 is just the year that we got the biggest changes out of the game. It started off with Shadow Spotlight, then it was Bomber Royale as the 2 first minor update, then it was Sunrise as the summer expansion, Boomeranger Blow as the third and only minor update of the winter area, and then it was Reeling in the Start as the winter expansion. Shadow Spotlight, the Shadow Hunter rework, which obviously made the class not only insanely powerful but insanely easy, I would still argue being the best all-around class in 2023, even made a video about it. Outside of the Shadowhunter rework, there is a full class rebalancing which made some class really good and some class getting the short end of the stick. I actually also made a video regarding all of the changes that we got in Shadow Spotlight with the class rebalancing. We also got the 64-bit combat precision with both health and damage, allowing players to display more than 100 million damage and bosses having more than 2 billion HP, which made the boss rebalancing in those much better and much easier, because before you could easily just get like a really strong boss in like a lower depth or a really weak boss in a higher depth. This actually just made the delves much more consistent throughout the depths in general. So this update alone was pretty insane. It changed so much, even though it was considered a quote-unquote minor update. Then it was Bomb Royale Season 3. It's Bomb Royale. I didn't like the update back then. I don't like it right now. But this is the introduction that we got Volatile Bounder. I will probably argue still is the best speed farming mount in the game. Yes, I will take it over the new Cosmic Primordial Dragon. This is also the update that we got this stronger knockback, which made it much more annoying. But hey, it's Volatile Bounder. It's all I need to say with this update. Then after that, it was the Sunrise update. The first major expansion of 2022, which was the summer expansion, was insane. This was Solarian, Uber 11, Crystal Gem, Sunder Uplands. This was the biggest progression update that we received since Geo Topside got introduced in 2018 with the Crystal Combat update. Yeah, I just don't need to mention too much in regards to this update. This update alone just brought so many players back into the game. And then after the Sunrise update, we got the Boomerangers Blow Up update with the Boomerangers rework. And this is the update that made the Boomeranger into the highest burst DPS in the entirety of the game. And of course, a lot of people still use it to this very day, and I will say it is much more impactful right now because a lot of players are discovering how strong the Boomeranger really is versus back then, which was not something that a lot of people still use. And this is also the update that we got a C4 farming being much easier because the Thunder Uplands 5-star dungeons in Uber 11 dropping the actual crystal gear. With regular dungeon chests, you didn't have to open the big chest with the key. Now you can get it with the smaller chest. If you have a group, this is the best and fastest way to get crystal level 4. And then the winter expansion is also another one that doesn't need a lot of introduction, Reeling in the Stars. And of course, this is going to be the one that added the new fishing revamp with the best food in the entirety of the game. But at the end of the day, still fishing. It depends on which players actually care for. It's something that I would probably say is somewhat impactful, but not so much. The biggest impact was definitely the Star Shard. Star Shard, not only you got the best physical damage ally at the time, you also get the best speed farming ally that it is right now available. And to top it all of it with all of the nodes getting you a big boost in not only stats, but also giving you some really good effects like the life leech, for example. And that was 2022. To recap, 2 class reworks, which were really strong reworks at that, full class rebalancing, 64-bit combat precision, Volatile Bounder, Uber 11, Crystal Gem Solarian, a new biome, easier C4 farming, fishing rework, and the Star Shard. So 2022 was just insane all around, which makes 2023 just all the more dreadful once you actually think about it, because this being the previous year. Now, the moment that we've been waiting for, 2023, and the badge of disappointment. Note, I will get a little toxic, and this portion might be more than half of the actual video, because me writing down the whole script, I just noted that this part alone is either equally as big or probably bigger than all of the things that I just mentioned. That's the amount of notes that I have available. So strap yourself in, because I will be talking a whole lot in regards to 2023. First minor update was the Gunslinger No Scope, which was the Gunslinger rework, which made the Gunslinger from a bad class to a bad class. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why this rework was only a damage increase when the Gunslinger's kit is so outdated. This is the second oldest class in the game, and the only thing that it received was a nerf in Shadow Spotlight. I don't know why, that made no sense. To put it into a comparison, the Knight, the oldest class in the game, received a rework back in 2017 with the Adventures update, and then it got a buff in 2022 with Shadow Spotlight. This is the first rework on the Gunslinger, and prior to that it only received a nerf. It just makes no sense, considering that the character's kit is still very outdated. The charge mechanic with charge shot still doesn't work in 2023 because the amount of instant cast ability that are available in the game, and it really doesn't work with the Gunslinger's kit in general. Slowfall still being present, which it was never good in the first place. Basic attack still being trash, and the ultimate ability being the only good thing about the character, but only lasting for 10 seconds. The DPS is still nowhere near to be at the top. It's just unfortunate how bad this reward really was. Honestly, the addition of this were just better, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Fishing dailies being easier to complete, but again, it's fishing. Composting allowing you to loot collect more trophies than one at a time. So in other words, composting working as a proper loot collector. The Bone Walker mounts and the Viking allies, which you see them once in a blue moon. And it doesn't get better from here. The second minor update was Fees and Felines. Necronomicon being added into the game, a legendary tome graveside buff, granting you potential of more dungeon chests, which is not bad. Even though if you want the effect for a whole week, you need to get yourself a banner, which costs a lot of bones, but that doesn't matter because you can look collect the pack. You will be missing some light and you will be missing some movement speed, but you will be able to get yourself more dungeon chests, which is not bad. But the fees portion, holy mamma mia, this is just absolutely ridiculous. The marketplace changes. The amount of items that you can sell is now doubled. Good. Displaying 12 items instead of 6 per page. Also good, even though it can be quite difficult to read for certain items, but we don't talk about that. Better readability for the numbers, now adding them commas. I don't know why that took so long, but hey, also good. Oh yeah, 10% tax on item sales. So whenever you do sell an item, you will be making 90% of the earnings instead of the full 100%. This was the biggest, why no one asked for, no one cared for. This was just to combat market flipping, and to be 100% honest with you, I don't know if this even affected marketplace flipping. I still believe a lot of people are still doing it, despite the 10%, so this was not only detriment to all of the players, it was also pointless. It was combating market flipping, but probably still people are still doing it to this very day. It literally just hurts player in terms of their income. And just to make matters worse, this is the update that got added with the, and I quote, harvesting resources such as ore limit themselves to being collected by the nearest 8 players to make it much more consistent with other drops such as loot. And also one more thing that I just found out very funny when I was reading all of the patch notes, and it was just this. Adjust its abilities for the Vanguardians so they will be more likely to trigger while also using the basic attack, although they're not entirely consistent. End quote. My brother in Croissant, the goddamn Vanguard is still glitchy as hell. So this also was pretty pointless. Anyways, this update was just rough. A lot of people were just complaining, and you can actually just see why. And anyways, those 2 minor updates were just pretty rough. Maybe the summer expansion was great. Right, it was Fluxion. Yeah, let's just make Fluxion. But players can vote on very select few items, which still cost dragon coins. So in other words, it's still Fluxion that is still outdated. Okay. Yeah, Fluxion got introduced in 2017 and it felt outdated until this very moment, because the amount of items that Fluxion can have is just massive. At this point, it would have been better if instead of players actually voting for a very select few items that will still cost dragon coins, it would have been better if the players would choose whichever item that they wanted instead of this whole voting system. So Fluxion still requires dragon coins to get those items. You know, a resource that it is used for 60 dragons that are available in the game. The newer players just have it rough. And yeah, we got the Castle Catastra with the fantastic Delphi. But let's be real, ever since you got all the mastery items, how often do you grind Castle Catastra? Probably not a whole lot, which is a shame because the biome it looks really good, and then you compare it to the other Delph biome, which is the same but different colors. So essentially it's just as impactful as Crack the Cord. A minor update. And this is their first expansion. This is the summer expansion, by the way. And then we also got the Cosmic Primordial Dragon. Great, something that players have been asking for a year. Alright, it costs 5,000 goddamn crystalline cores. Almost 2 sets of crystal level 4th worth of crystalline cores. While granting the same amount of stat as the other Primordial Dragon. Also costing 3 Diamond Dragon Eggs. And 600 Dragon Coins. So, the same update that you are spending Dragon Coins for Fluxion, you get a dragon that costs double the amount of regular dragons. Seriously, who was the Cosmic Primordial Dragon for? Not the endgame players, because endgame players like myself had all of the crystalline cores by the time they got added. The mid-game players did not benefit a whole lot because they will be using the crystalline cores for maxing crystal level 4. And then the newer players is just GG because it costs 3 diamond dragonets for some reason. At that point, just use those 3 diamond dragonets to get the other 3 primordial dragon that will grant you more stats and more mastery points, and it's just going to be all around better. It just made no sense, but hey, it's a new primordial dragon. I guess it was just something. And the effect on the cosmic primordial dragon was pretty bad for like 3 months. And those 3 months passed, which was the third and final minor update. So yes, just like 2022, this also was 5 updates. But it is not even as impactful. The third and final minor update is the update that we got, the troubles with titles. It's one of those updates that makes you think like, that's it. Yeah, pretty much nothing was added, so we're going to move on from this update. And then we move on into the winter expansion. These are always great. Reeling in the Star Shard, and fishing, even though fishing still kind of sucks, but Star Shard, Polish Paragon system, Paragon levels, crystal rings, hidden effect. And yeah, if you really want to go back into the winter expansion, Crystal Combat update with Geo Topside and Uber 10, and Crystal Gears in general, Cosmic Gems, and then into the deep update with the Leviathans, banners, and new bosses and new stuff. And oh right, we got punches and potions. And update so short that I personally finished it in like 3 or 4 days. Yep, Tuna Profession, surely they have some great additions to the classes in general. Alright, never mind. Everything for martial arts is just a worse food than electrolytic crystal, and the effects from the food are just bad. Okay, what about mysticism with all of the new mana, which is just essentially the geode crystal, but for the adventure worlds, only used for a very specific profession. But hey, whatever. You can get very specific buffs that will last for a few hours. Not bad. And it doesn't require food. Also really great. But then you do realize that the buffs are not all that great. Like 1% physical damage or magic damage. 1%. Getting the Illurian Kabiri effect, which is just spawning blocks whenever you're walking on water or lava. More stability if you find knockback annoying. More flash capacity, which is okay. Freaking Slowfall, aka why the hell do you want to be Gunslinger so bad? I don't know why it's still even in the game. Removing the slow when walking to chocolate, which is not bad. Even though they are not bad, with the exception of the Slowfall, like why the hell would you want to go with that one? Essentially, everything that you get from this major update is just some little buffs that are not too impactful. So yeah, that's just 2023, the whole recap. The worst reward that we received thus far, the Gunslinger, going from terrible to bad, which by the way, this makes the only rework that we received. In 2022, we got 2 rework. In 2021, we got 2 rework and a class introduction each of the year. This one, we only got the worst rework and no class introduction and no class buffs. Then we got the marketplace update with the 10% taxes, another Fluxion with the voting system that still feels very outdated, a Delph biome which is really good but is a Delph biome, the overpriced primordial dragon with terrible effects, the titles update, which again are titles, and then the 2 new professions that doesn't do any impact outside of barely doing anything for your characters. The whole 2023 has just been horrible. This was one of the reasons why I was just barely motivated regarding the 2023 updates and barely even covered all of this update. Yeah, let's just hope that 2024 is just better for this game. We as the player base, we need to just be more vocal in regards to the updates, because if we are not vocal with the updates, we can potentially see 2024 be as lame as 2023 was. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm expecting people to come at directly at me for talking about negative opinions, even though I also gave good reasons, good comparisons, but people are just gonna come after me. I know that for a fact. It's the internet, people don't care. And also why I talked about this the way that I did, it's just the year has just been disappointing, to say the least. Anyways, thank you once again for 5k subs, and like always, let me know what you think in the comment section down below with this update. With all that being said, I hope to see you guys next time. Take care and keep on hunting, and sorry for being toxic, but I needed to be 100% honest. See ya.